Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Bravely Default podcast. I am Joe.
I am Caleb.
And today is our final official video game review for Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. How does that feel?
Oh, man, that feels great. You know, feels like such a... the moment I've got the 9th set of credits in this game, I had such a fucking weight lifted off of me. I was like, man, I beat it again and again and again, and now it's finally actually done.
I mean, you're not far off. It was 4 false endings. 4.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
With full credits.
Did the last one have... Or no, the first one had a bad ending, right?
Yeah, it was officially the bad ending.
Okay. Because this had me thinking, like, did I actually not beat the first game? Now I was kind of getting bugged by that. Not enough to look it up, but
no.
I was like, I think I remember it was the bad ending, not the end. Like, this would have been not the end if you would have just called it.
Every single Bravely Default has had some bullshit turnaround.
Some kind of time travel or, like, gotcha switcheroo.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know you're supposed to break the crystal? Oh, you didn't know you're supposed to whatever? Like,
yeah, well, I broke it, but apparently I broke it too soon.
Yeah.
And I was, because the guy was like, break it. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll break it. Hell yeah, I'll keep going. Yeah, every one of them's got to be like...
Oh, it was break the crystal. The second one was you had to bravely second.
Yeah.
In a fight, or else you would start the whole game over again.
Yeah, I wonder how that would play if everything like kind of scaled to where you're at so that you would just play it again as a normal RPG.
Yeah. This one you have to say no instead of going in and fighting, because obviously like in the future she'll die or whatever. And then, oh gosh, what was the second false ending? It was...
You have to walk away for the first one. The second one...
Oh, you fight the Knight's Nexus and
then she traps all the fairies and they like get trapped there to kind of hold them in place.
Right.
And then you basically just... It's almost the same thing. You just don't do that instead.
And then there was you save over your game or the next time you save a game... Gosh, is there a war going on upstairs? I don't know if you guys could hear that on the podcast, but
yeah,
you save over your game. You have to save in the purple slot, like the glitch slot, and then that suddenly like brings up a whole new
thing.
So
now it's like Metal Gear Solid-esque as well. Oh no, the Bravely Default 2, Bravely Second it was like deleting your shit too.
Yeah, they threatened to do that.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It reminds me of that part in Metal Gear Solid 2 where like the game's just fucking with you, and like the gameplay area just goes to like the tiny little corner, and then it's like retry, continue, and if you press either of them, you like have to load your game back up, but if you just leave it alone, it'll like fix itself. Reminds me of that.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's not as sweet as that, but
no, it's not as sweet as the Metal Gear Solid ones. It's more frustrating, and also if you're not, if you're only half paying, maybe quarter paying attention to the story like I do, I am not getting the little dialogue cues that are like telling you to do something. I'm going and I'm like, why? Okay, I got credits. Then I go back in. Nothing's still the same. Nothing changes. I fight Knight's Nexus twice.
Yeah.
The cutscenes are the same, and I'm like, what is happening? Then I have to look it up.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous because you end up just walking away from the whole thing.
Yeah,
and then that's like opens up another ending. Which
crazy.
I say another ending. It's not really another ending. It's just another false ending, another fake out.
That's right.
Because there's only one ending to the game, technically.
Just like there's only one ending to this podcast.
That's right.
Right?
Technically.
Technically. We do have a book left.
Yeah. Yeah, you've started it, right? You're like,
yeah, I'm page 50.
Yeah.
All I did, that's all. I did that for like an hour yesterday and got to page 50.
How is it? Is it as good as the 15 one?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
No, it's not.
You know who wrote it, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's probably why.
It doesn't surprise me. I have highlighted areas that need to be read out loud a couple times. It's really meandery and nothing's happening. I'm 50 pages in.
Yeah, you should have something because it's only a 400-page book. That's an eighth of the way.
Yeah, should be the end of the first sequence.
Yeah.
Ish. Speaking of stories and terrible writing, hope you guys enjoyed Ultimate Final Fantasy in the Capsule of Time that came out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the last one yet. I didn't know it was out until I read Discord earlier. That one's a good one.
All 8 parts. All 8.
You want to do the unfiltered version on Patreon still?
Yeah, I actually mixed an audio thing for it. I just got to remember to upload. I think you are the only one with the Patreon login right now.
Oh,
so
I'll have to upload.
Yeah, you'll have to upload it as a post. So guys, support us on Patreon in order to get the us giggling between lines cut of UFF in the Capsule of Time. The link will be in the description, and also you can join the discussion in Discord. Probably by the time this episode comes out, we will have read the book.
Yeah.
But in case we didn't, go ahead and tell us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and
Traces of Two Paths or whatever.
Traces of Two Paths, yes. Very hard title. I tried to get Alex to order it like 3 weeks ago, and she couldn't find it, and it's because I fucked up what it was called. And I'm just like, God damn it, man. But I haven't started it yet, so I have no opinion. I'll probably do it on our trip that we're about to go on to Seattle for Metallica.
Okay. I get car sick if I look at a phone or look at a book when I'm a passenger.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I don't have...
Otherwise, I would get so much reading done.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't have that problem. I don't get car sick or anything.
Oh, man, I do. I'd have to take Dramamine, and then I'd fall asleep in the middle of the book instead.
Yeah,
So
that's my big problem. I'm just so deprived of sleep these days that when I try to read, I just doze off.
Yeah, just can't take it anymore.
No, so we'll see how long this takes me, I guess.
We will be doing some sort of finale episode for UFF, so if you have any final messages for us, email us at fffanatics123@gmail.com. That is fffanatics123@gmail.com. Any final questions, anything you've been dying to ask us, any final thoughts on the Final Fantasy series, just whatever you want to put down. Yeah, we'd appreciate having you guys add your 2 cents into wrapping up 10.4 years of this podcast or whatever we're at right now.
Yeah.
3 months late in terms of beating all the games, but
that's really not that bad considering how many we had.
It's not that terrible.
We had a ton.
Yeah, it was 50. Just the Final Fantasy games was 50-something games. So
yeah.
It'll probably be like 70 games for this podcast, dude.
Yeah, I wrote, it was like a list of all the RPGs I've ever beaten. Like all of them. I think I'm at like 90 or something right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is insane.
Are you going to retire at 100?
Yeah, maybe. I'll just have to like really pick the last few that I play. It's like what's supposed to be the greatest RPGs. I mean, I have enough that I haven't played up here in the collection.
I mean, there's a lot of Western RPGs I feel like you're missing just because we've been doing this for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of big titles.
I mean, I did all the Diablos, all the Fables, all the...
Elden Rings, though?
Yeah, I beat all the Souls.
Or not the Elden Rings. Skyrim, that Skyrim series.
I beat Skyrim. I haven't beaten Oblivion.
Like Oblivion and Morrowind.
I played Oblivion for like 1,000,000 hours, but I never did beat it.
Oblivion, Morrowind, Dragon Age.
Yeah, Dragon Age is supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just figure what I'll end up doing at the end is just like playing random strategy games. Like I am kicking myself for not picking up like Sid Meier's Pirates for the PSP when I saw it the other day. And now they sold
That game's
it.
fun.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I kind of wish I would have grabbed that thing. Like,
Is that a port of the PC one that came out, or is
yeah, I think so. And it's just on the PSP.
Yeah, that's the one that I mean, there were 2 versions of that game, right? There was like the old Sid Meier's Pirates, and then there was the one that came out when we were like teenagers.
Yeah.
And that's the one I played, and that one was a lot of fun. Honestly, I played that thing for a stupid amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't buy it though, stupidly, and now it's gone.
Speaking of Sid Meier's, this is what I was like, okay, all right, wife. I said to my wife, all right, wife. I am gonna go to gaming just one night a week, probably. Depends on how schedules line up with other things. And because now we've beaten Bravely Default 2.
Yeah.
I have no more gaming to do. And if I read that book in like an afternoon or two, it's like, it's over, right?
Yeah.
And, we still have some gaming to do on New Clan. And it's like, well, I can either piecemeal that and enjoy it, or I can plow, right? And I said, wife, I'm only going to do one game a week, like one night a week of gaming. A good session, like 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah.
Probably do it with you or with other friends online or something like that.
Considering how much we've been doing for all these years, that's really not that
No, that's not much, but it's like
nothing.
But then I saw Civilization 7's coming out,
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh no, maybe I spoke too soon.
Yeah. How about 3 5-hour sessions a week?
How about 7 5-hour sessions a week, and I actually never do anything with my life.
Yeah. I didn't like 6 as much, but I feel like we didn't give 6
We didn't give it
as many
time.
hours. Yeah.
No, and my computer wasn't strong enough for 6. I know yours probably was, but hey, guess what just came in the mail the other day?
What, a computer?
A very good computer.
Oh, nice.
It's stronger than my work computer.
Oh, wow.
Because it's 2 years, more recent. And that thing can handle like 4K and 6K video editing. So I'm like, should be able to handle most games just
Nice.
fine. So,
You know what game I really want to play? I've been thinking about it a lot. Is that Empire Total War. I bought this thing like 10 years ago.
I still have that on my Steam.
It's awesome.
See, that's the problem. We're about to retire from these podcasts.
And all we could think of.
And then we're like, oh, but what about this other game that I never did actually play? I never played the BioShock sequels. I only ever played the first one.
Oh, really?
And I'm like,
They're really good.
that seems like that would be pretty cool.
The first one is really good, but the other ones are really good too.
Well, I've heard the Infinite's like awesome.
Yeah, Infinite's really good.
And then the second one's still worth playing.
Yeah, a lot of people crapped on it, but I thought it was a blast.
Well, I can't imagine. Like the gameplay was so good. I can understand because that kind of gameplay story balance when how it shades people's opinions on games. The story is really good in the first BioShock.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can imagine if it like doesn't hold up to that, but if the gameplay is as good as the first BioShock, kind of doesn't matter. The gameplay was amazing in that first game too. So.
It's pretty good. You can like set up traps, and there's a harpoon gun, so I had a lot of fun.
Okay.
Like nailing people to the ceiling and shit.
Or I might just play more Halo Infinite. I don't know.
Yeah. It's infinite.
It is infinite. Well, gee, that's a scary conversation to have.
Yeah. Let's do 3 days.
Let's just do. Never mind. I take it all back.
Yeah. Just kidding. I'm still a child.
All right. Let's get into the development of Bravely Default 2. So Bravely Default 2. Caleb, do you remember where you were in the world when you heard about this game? While I pull up the information here.
When I heard about it, I think, honestly, it was because of the fact that we decided to do them. I don't remember when it came out. No, I kind of remember. I remember people talking about it when it came out. It had some buzz.
Yeah.
But then it kind of just went into the back of my mind with all the...
And going, I guess that's added to the list now.
Yeah. Like when the list was such a insurmountable task that, yeah, you throw another 50-hour game on and I don't even feel it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I was.
Yeah, because I think it was the longest game on the How Long to Beat, which is kind of how we look and see how long it's going to take us to beat these games. Great website for that. I don't know what else that site's made for.
I don't know. It's awesome.
Who else
though.
cares about that site except for speedrunners?
Yeah, I put all my backlog on until I started collecting video games. Then I was like, okay, I can't do this. Now the backlog is like shit that I'm going to play. Not just stuff that I bought, because I'm not going to play.
You're not going to beat all these?
I don't think so. I don't think I can
hundred
before
games
I
back
die.
here?
I mean, I might be able to before I die, but
Yeah, if that's all you did. If you stopped now. Yeah, good. Yeah, go for it.
yeah. I mean, you got to also consider how many of them I've already beaten. Just like
I'm considering that. I considered that.
so it's honestly not that many of them,
but I'm thinking, 70 plus Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy related games.
Yeah.
In 11 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. You want to do the math on that? It's scary math.
Not really.
Now,
yeah.
Most of these games are double the length of a normal video game.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think you could probably get away with like AAA titles. I bet you could beat like 150 games within that same span of time. So
yeah, I probably could. And like honestly, there's like an X-Files game up there. As far as I know, it's basically an episode of X-Files that's put into a video game.
So it's got to only be an hour then, right?
Yeah, it's got 2 discs, but I think it's because it's got like actual movie on it. So
they just filled the whole disc up with QuickTime files.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I could probably knock that out in a day.
Yeah, I remember it coming out. I remember seeing the artwork, and I remember going, "Damn it, that's another one to add to the list." And I think that was about what I had in there. But I do remember people talking about it and people liking it too.
Yeah. And honestly, once we got closer to playing them, to be honest, I was kind of dreading it just because of how beaten down we had become with like the Mana series and like the Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah, somewhat to the Kingdom Hearts, but some of the Kingdom Hearts was pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean and
we beat those things fast. So.
Yeah, and like one of the last DS one was really fun.
Yeah,
so it was I kind of wasn't looking forward to playing these things.
No, I saw their length and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
That was certainly a factor in this one.
Yeah.
Bravely Default 2 was released during COVID. Worldwide, February 26, 2021. It was released for the computer a few months later, September 2nd, 2021. Follows Bravely Default and its direct sequel, Bravely Default, or Bravely Second and Lair. Oh yeah, by the way, this isn't Bravely Second. Just to be clear, this is Bravely Default 2, in case anyone was confused.
And in case you thought the last one we reviewed was actually Bravely Default 2, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It was Bravely Second.
So the stories, outside of them having like thematic connections, I don't actually think they are related at all. I think it's a different world and different characters. It has fairies in it, and it has the asterisks in it. Yeah, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's about where the similarities end.
As far as the similarities go,
there's definitely some racial tensions between the fairies and the humans, which I feel like is understandable given the psychotic fairies of the first 2 games. But
this one was developed by Claytek Works, which I believe is a different developer than the last ones.
I think so, yeah.
Directed by Shunsuke Iwami. Produced by Tomoya Asano and Misashi Takahashi. Lead designer was Shota Fukubaru. Lead programmer was Kei Sone. The artists Hajime Onuma and Naoki Ikushima. Written by Yura Kobota and Tomoyoshi Nagai. Composed once again, the guy they're all one word composers, but the guy who did the music for the first Bravely Default actually returned for this one. It was Revo. It was developed on the Unreal Engine 4, which makes it look really different from the other 2 games.
Yeah, the look is
really
way
different.
off.
It was announced on Nintendo Switch at the Game Awards in December 2019. Tomoya Asano had blamed Bravely Default 2, or blamed the reason that Bravely Second wasn't a hit was because it was called Bravely Second and not Bravely Default 2. So obviously he had to make an actual Bravely Default 2.
I just can't get over the fact that they tried to make a bunch of money with 4 Heroes of Light by naming it Final Fantasy. That didn't work, so they tried to make a bunch of money by making its sequel a different title, which worked, and then they tried to make a bunch of money again by giving it a clever name. That didn't work, and then they needed to make more money, so they made it Bravely Default 2 after all of that. It's like, you guys are like, it's either hot or not over there, I swear. It's like, well, now we got to distance ourselves from the cleverness of Bravely Second, which is a cool title until you add the end layer part, and then it's just, then
Clearly,
it doesn't mean anything.
It's only the end layer of that story.
Yeah,
We're just going to completely reboot this thing.
There's clearly more layers to this world, to this universe.
Apparently, the team morale, the people behind the game, and their financial situation improved when Bravely Default Fairies Effect, which was a Japanese-only mobile title, and Octopath Traveler, both did really well. And so they decided to go back in and do Bravely Default 2.
Yeah, I like that they're doing AA titles. I know they said they weren't gonna, but that's totally a lie. They literally just announced a Mana game. It's coming out in a month, which is total AA, if that. It might be like a lowercase 1A series, But I like that they're doing that kind of stuff, because then they get fresh stuff like this where the gameplay is super, super good, and it's not really super different from Final Fantasy, but it's enough.
It could have been called Final Fantasy, even though they had their differences or whatever.
I mean, this one
still could have.
This one especially, I would say, seems like an old school. I mean, all three of them seem like old school Final Fantasies.
Yep.
Got crystals, elements, hero's journey. But yeah, I like that they're doing that at Square, so we get some good stuff. Apparently, Octopath is really good too, but I just haven't played it.
But then you heard the title and you're like,
yeah. And I'm like, ugh. But it also sounds like
maybe this Asano guy just doesn't know how to write a goddamn title.
Yeah, that may be a problem. But in Octopath, I've heard that it's similar to After Years, where you have a bunch of little, the 8 paths kind of come together, and then you do a real main story.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that makes the name just, it's bad.
There was a old Square game with a remake that me and Zach played for Nude Clan.
Live Alive?
Live Alive, that's
Live
the
Alive.
one. So that one predates both of those. So it's a Live Alive structure in my mind, I guess.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It was all these little stories and then one main one at the end.
Yeah.
Or one main conflict or whatever. Very loosely connected in that one. But this game was pretty well received. Metacritic gave it a 76 out of 100 for the Switch version and 83 out of 100 for the PC version. Game Informer gave it an 8 out of 10. Nintendo Life gave it an 8 out of 10. The only one that kind of gave it a pretty low one was GameSpot. It was 6 out of 10. I guess low for a positively reviewed game. And it had sold 950,000 copies worldwide just prior to the release of the PC version of the game. So it's by December 22nd, 2021, Square announced that was within the year that it was released. Square announced that Bravely Default 2 had sold 1 million copies.
Nice.
And probably did well enough that we'll get a sequel in the not too distant future.
Yeah, we got news of news is what they did.
Yeah.
They said they were going to talk about a possible sequel to this at a certain date. So, hurrah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of what I got on the development. Let's get into the story. Bravely Default 2 is set in the continent of Excellent.
Yeah.
Or Excellent. I don't know. 4 heroes, Seth, Gloria, Elvis, and Adele. Elvis and Adele
I just realized that, yeah.
are both in this. And Seth Meyers, apparently. embark on a quest to retrieve stolen elemental crystals and prevent their misuse by the Kingdom of Holograd. Each hero is chosen by one of the crystals, Seth by wind, Gloria by water, Elvis by earth, and Adele by fire. As they journey, they uncover that Edna, Holograd's advisor and Adele's sister, is trying to summon an ancient evil, the Knight's Nexus. The crystal's true purpose is to seal this evil away. After defeating Edna, Gloria sacrifices herself to restore the crystals and seal the Nexus, leading to a bad ending. But continuing the game reveals that Gloria's sacrifice was a possible future. The true solution involves deleting the Knight's Nexus save data from an ancient book containing its memories. After doing so, the heroes travel to the Nexus lair and finally defeat it.
That's fucked up, man. We deleted that guy's save data. No wonder he's so pissed. Like, dude, that's a big deal. I remember when I was playing FF12 with Jake, and he just got done doing like 2 hours of grinding in the mines to get his dudes up to 99. And while he was like saving, for some reason he was gonna do something else, and he like pulled the memory card out, and it like fucked his save file, dude. He lost like 12 hours. He was so fucking mad. So I get it. I mean, I get
you get why the Knight's Nexus would be mad.
Yeah, like, you deleted my fucking save, you asshole.
No, I'm not gonna pretend like I know what this story is about. Honestly, like, let's say I tried to pay attention during Bravely Default. I have tried to pay attention during Bravely Second End Layer. You know, we get a whole new fresh start with whole new graphics on this one. It is even less easy to follow. Or, excuse me, not follow. It's probably easy to follow. It's probably less easy to pay attention to than ever, this game.
Yeah.
So, that's a bullshit write-up for me. But there is a point when you think your heroes are dead, and we talked about it earlier. You have to then, like, oh, it's just one of the possible futures that you can see. And then you have to go back into the game and then basically retry it again. And then see like a death of another character and then retry it again and then go in and then you finally like defeat the Knight's Nexus.
Yeah.
There's some sort of book that's being translated.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the first game where the book has like it has the future in it, and the guy, it's got his memories. But then this one, it's like the more asterisks you get, the more the book reveals to you. So it kind of retranslates it. But then the book is evil, which is kind of weird because that's what you've been saving your game with this whole time. But then you get to corrupt the dude's save data like a fucking asshole. It's like Soul Calibur 3 level of corrupting save data here.
So I was not pulled into the story at all. Like, at all.
Yeah,
I found the characters I found were not as fun to watch either, like they were in the last two games. I thought in the last two games, main characters here were like a lot of fun to watch.
Edna and Tiz were more fun.
Yeah, Adia and Tiz.
Yeah, Adia.
Yeah,
not Edna. Thinking about fucking Incredibles, I guess, or whatever. I agree with you. I mean, they're not as interesting. I mean, the Elvis guy likes a drink. The Australian chick is a fairy. Mm-hmm. And the princess, that's the old guy. The princess Seth. And Seth want to bang. It had like a Final Fantasy X. It's actually very similar to Final Fantasy X in a bunch of ways, because the game starts out, they find you on a beach. You were stranded from your old island that you came from.
Listen to my story.
Yeah. You're a star player, but you're actually ass. You're complete ass in this new world, and you get your ass handed to you by every other team. No, but then there's other similarities too. Like the quest you're on for the Knight's Nexus. It was like longer ago. It was like 40 years ago. They had to do the same thing. One of those guys was alive and part of the party for a little while. Not as cool as Auron, obviously, because he's not a dead alcoholic. But it had that similarity going on with it. And then instead of doing what the last guy did, which is basically seal it off and stop it, you actually put an end to the Knight's Nexus. So it's similar to FF10 in that way as well, where you actually, destroy sin by killing God. This one's not a god, but it's similar to that. So there's a lot of similarities to FF10.
There's a lot, and the other games had that too, where it was like Anya's on her pilgrimage almost.
Yeah. So it had some. They've got some
And
similarities.
then she eventually became Pope.
yeah. Pope instead of pop star.
Yeah, that's much. It's a more logical conclusion.
Yeah, it's less surprising, I would say. Like, oh, she's the Pope. Oh, she's in a girl band. Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I'll dress her up. Sure.
This holy individual.
Yeah. So yeah, I do find it. I'm kind of with you on this one. I found it even less interesting to follow, which I don't know what my problem is, but like, I just with a bunch of these games,
late-stage ADD, or is the story just not that interesting?
Yeah, I'm always worried about that. Like, do I have ADD? Because I just can't.
I can't focus on this dumb game.
Yeah, I can't focus on the story that kind of sucks. Like, what's my problem? You know, but I don't know. It's not bad, and then there were some cool parts to it. There's some like character sacrifices and stuff. And there's some like some side guys that you see throughout, like the first two people that you find that are like beating up the old man, the Sir Sloan guy. They kind of have like a redemption arc in the side stories.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like there was one where this little kid wanted to collect some like flowers or something for like a recipe or something, but it was dangerous, and so they agreed to go out and like collect them, or it was mushrooms, I think, and then they couldn't fight the bad guys, so they kind of left him there, and then your party comes along and like steals the glory. And there's a few things that they're doing similar to that, where they're like trying to not be evil, more or less. So that was kind of cool, but I don't know. I think I'm less invested in this one than the other two story-wise, which is really saying something because I was not invested in
this entire series, including 4 Heroes of Light, has been real lackluster on the story side of things.
Yeah, for sure. And it is honestly it's a throwback to like Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3. All of them are, you know, mostly 3 with the job systems that they've had, but like the story. Dude, I can't tell you what happened in FF3. Like, all I know is World of Darkness is like a really brutal, like 9-part fight at the end.
Yeah, but you're saying that, but then those had like no cutscenes, and these ones have
a million. Yeah, they got regular cutscenes. You got live action or like movie cutscenes. You got party chats.
Yep.
It's like, you guys are real chatty, man. Can you guys just like? It's like, man, can you imagine that? Like, if that's how all of us were hanging out like all the time, it's like you got to just talk endlessly, dude. You can't just like be quiet for a minute. Like,
I can't, but
just relax.
Like, I understand your criticism, but I can't be quiet.
Yeah, it's like fuck. It's like we're just relaxing here. Can't you just like just chill?
Just shut up.
Like, we gotta have side chats, man.
I was worried about that in the past, and then like one of the main series games would come out, like 16 or remake 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'd be able to remember the story just fine.
Yeah.
because you're invested in it.
Yeah.
And maybe remake wouldn't count in that, but it's like 16 was a new game.
Yeah.
And outside of the weird name changes on the beginning of the game, I was having trouble following it. Yeah, in FF16. But the rest of it, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty clear what was going on.
Yeah.
So I do think it's actually the storytelling, like numbing your mind to an activity that's already really long.
Yeah, because I mean, even with Remake Part 2, like it's a game that we've played, or at least the main story, the gist of the story we've done a bunch of times with FF7, but like the way it's expanding on it is super cool. And I'm in the whole time, but this I'm not. I wasn't in like at all, man. Just instantly like whoosh.
Yep.
And I feel like they overload you with too much in the beginning, and then they give you all this gameplay, which is awesome. The gameplay is really good, but the story is almost too few and far between for me to be invested and even remember what happened last. But I don't know. And I guess there's some cool conflicts, like Prince Castor. He's trying to steal the water crystals so that his kingdom isn't like a drought-filled hellhole. But then I'm also like, I mean, hasn't it always been that way? I mean, you guys live in a desert, so like, what's the deal here?
Yeah, aren't you
Just
used to it by now?
Yeah. Yeah, don't you guys like, have little moisture wicking packs?
Yeah,
From
or like
Dune?
exactly the
fucking suits.
the suits with the little like the recycling
Yeah.
system that they have on.
You should use that on your dead. You get a lot of water that way.
There you go. Yeah, I can't even pretend like I paid any attention to this story.
Yeah.
It's not like I put the thing down and was like going off and into the kitchen or something like that while the cutscene was playing. I wasn't, but I was definitely like not there.
Yeah, your brain wasn't like present.
No.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I don't know. It was kind of cool. I thought the Empire was kind of cool too, like the one general that was part of the Empire that you're fighting. He's not really a bad guy. I thought he was kind of interesting. The Lonsdale guy. He had some cool things where, like, he didn't really want to fight you, but he promised the father of the Emperor that he would look after his son. And then the father of the Emperor, I mean, he was basically classic bad guy, just trying to unite everybody together, like my way or the highway, kind of like Roman style rule.
Okay.
But then once you finally defeat him, he realizes the error of his ways and, dies with dignity, I guess. But he was not planning on helping the fairies in the first place. And then the asterisks kind of like driving everybody insane a little bit was kind of cool. But then your guys weren't, so I don't know what the deal is with that. But
Well, there you go. There's our review.
yeah,
There's our story overview from Bravely Default 2.
yeah. While you're editing this, you should just do like our outro periodically, just to like reimagine what the game did, where it's like credits.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, so do credits like here and
That'd
then
be
two
good.
more times. Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, but that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what's actually interesting about this game. The gameplay. So, Bravely Default 2, much like its predecessors, is a old school style, turn-based, with some twists, RPG with job classes and dungeons and item collecting and the whole 9 yards. 4 team members, 24 different job classes you can be in this game. And you have to collect all the classes, by the way, in order to beat the game, as I found out.
Which ones did you need to get?
The two like bonus ones. So one of which I had already gotten, and I was afraid that, but somehow I got it. And I don't even know how. No. There were 3 bonus ones. I had already gotten one. I had to go out and get 2. There was one where I had to go into like a snowy area and grab some like flowers for a guy and then come back and fight a guy. And it was like a side quest.
Yeah.
I skipped cutscenes for all side quests now. Just like, I don't care. Moving on. And then the other one was the gambler. I had to go into the like casino there and play some card games.
Yeah.
Some fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
At the
How'd you like that card game?
at the slot machines. The card game was it was fine. It was fine. I didn't like how complex it was, I guess. It was kind of like you're taking over the board. And then a lot of your cards will have like special abilities, and that'll like change over the territory that the other person has taken. It is a lot like Queen's Blood from Final Fantasy VII reimagined. Shit, what is it?
It's Rebirth.
It's Rebirth.
We only played it for 200 plus hours.
I know,
combined.
but I don't even think. I still like in my head it goes Final Fantasy VII Remake still.
Yeah,
like it's just remake.
That's what they should have called
continued. But it's like that, but it's more complicated, and so I didn't get into it.
More complicated than Queen's Blood, you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes you a second. I mean, there's definitely more douchery that can happen.
But I do want to say, my mind when I got that thing was, I want to beat this game as soon as humanly possible, and I know there's only like a dungeon left, and me getting these stupid fucking classes.
Oh, it's the most brutal dungeon of all time if you've run into the Skeletors.
Really?
Yeah, man. They were like, they did so much fucking damage.
Oh, man, we had like...
I just ran to the end. I was like, fuck this.
Oppositeville, where like I beat the shit out of the final boss and the final area, but the rest of the game was fucking kicking my ass, dude. Whole time. No, I liked the card game. I can imagine playing it more, but I didn't hit into it early. I hit into it.
Oh, you didn't just stumble upon it?
No, I was like 2 hours from the end of the game, and I was so mad that I couldn't continue the game. And then I looked up somewhere. It was like, oh, you need all the asterisks, idiot. Like, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So then I had to look up, okay, what are all the asterisks? There wasn't a thing going like, oh, if you're here, you're probably missing this, this, and this. Nothing like that. It was like I had to go find a list of all the asterisks and then just search down and which ones don't I have?
Yeah.
And then I found my way through there, and that was enough to get it. Thank God.
Yeah, I was just doing like random stuff in that town, and I found it, and so I just started playing it. And then I like every area I'd get into, I'd like more people would be playing the card game, and I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Oh, no.
And they had different rules. It was kind of similar to what they did in FF8. Like there's ones where you don't keep the other, or they don't keep your card when you lose. There's ones where like you wrap around. So instead of like, if you have a card that's got squares that go down and to the right, instead of when you go into a corner, those disappearing, they just go to the other side.
Oh.
That one was really fun because you could like screw people hard, just like go onto the other side and just take over like massive swaths of land.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like Manifest Destiny, the card game. It's like crazy. As an American, I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty fun, and I got a lot of. It's kind of weird though, because really, it's as you progress, you just get better and better cards. So like, it's not as cool as Queen's Blood, where some of the earlier ones are still super useful, like till the very end. It's like, now I've got a guy that has like 5 squares, so obviously I'm going to use the 5 square guy. But it was still a good. I played it for like a good 6 hours probably. It was like way too long.
Oh, it's sorry, don't mean to yawn in the middle of the podcast. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Queen's Blood versus this game.
Oh, for sure, Queen's Blood.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's better, dude.
All right. You made me feel bad for missing out on it. You're like, oh, that's all I've been doing. I've just been mainlining this card game for 20 hours at a time.
Yeah, let's just say I'm doing a different position at work right now, and I have some downtime. So
okay, that's
I was
good.
card gaming a lot
virtually,
because they're pretty fast, the little games as well. So yeah. One real quick. One element of it that sucks ass though is when you lose, and the rule isn't there that you don't lose a card. It's like a spinner wheel, and then if it lands on a card, you lose it. Oh. But that guy doesn't take it. It goes back to the person you got it from.
Oh no!
So I had to fucking go hunt down my lost cards.
Oh no!
Because for a little while I was like, I'm gonna get all these cards. Like I'm so close. I only have like 40 left. And then I
only 40 left. That's 40 games.
Yeah. In the end, I think I have like 10 that I don't have. Okay. And it was because of I had to finish really hard side quests that I can't kill the guy that I had to fight.
Oh, okay.
So I did everything I could. But yeah, I'd have to go back and fucking hunt down this card. And like it tells you, it's like this blah, blah, blah has it and others. But then sometimes they wouldn't have it. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Where's my fucking card?
What kind of other are you?
Yeah, I'm like, why is this guy stealing it? And then what? Like mailing it to the other guy? Like, here's your card back. I got your back.
They only printed one card?
Yeah, there's only one. Apparently.
Okay.
Well, that's also the shit part. When I take it from them, they still fucking have it. So like I intentionally took one of the like really bullshit ones. It was like the fucking the one like Pied Piper looking bastard in the game. I can't remember what his class was. He's one of like the douchebags in the beginning that you take out pretty quick. But he has a card, it's his face. And like if you have a card that has the main square and then 2 other squares, you can't play it. I was like, what the fuck? That's every card I have. And so this guy would play it and I'm like, fuck you, man. I just exit the game. Like flip over the chessboard like, you bitch. It's like when I was playing Magic with Craig and I'm like, if you play with that card again, I'm not playing with you anymore.
I'm playing with you.
That card's bullshit. But I can't do that in this game. I just have to fucking take it. And you have to, the ones that they have that you need to collect, you have to beat them specifically. You can't go somewhere else and get them. So I have to just put up with this fucking card. And the whole time when I lose too many times, my other cards are getting stolen. And I'm just like, God damn it. But it was a lot of fun. Even though it was super douche sometimes. And I would lose to completely inferior decks just because they would have a fuck you card in there.
Can you imagine Wizards of the Coast only printing like 3 of like their new cards out? They have like 120 new cards. There's only 3 copies each.
Yeah, that'd be insanity.
In the whole world.
I mean, they'd be worth a lot of money.
Oh, they'd be worth a ton of money.
But nobody could play your fucking game.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's like, if somehow you would have to do this with AI, because there's no way you would like design art and have a move set like within the bounds of a trading card game.
Yeah.
But that just printed like new cards every day, like never repeated a card. So each of your cards are unique in this card game.
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. It would never happen. But that is what the world is suggesting here.
Yeah.
You have 40 cards. You get 1 each.
Yeah, it's like the game was invented like 100 years ago, and they just stopped printing after like the 3rd full deck they made.
All these like super nerd, rare item people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very bizarre when you really think about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. What kind of company would make money off of that, you know?
I don't know,
One
man.
card at a time.
The used market would be way more lucrative than the
new.
Yeah, maybe they would be like Bitcoin, and just every once in a while they'd slide out another copy of it.
Or just every new card is like $1,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Then it's worth like a lot.
True.
But that's not the main part of the game.
No,
believe it or not.
End, yeah.
I enjoyed this game for sure. The job classes seemed like there were less classes, and it seemed like they were like more nerfed than they were in the previous 2 games.
Yeah, which is bullshit because this game's fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
Like I played on normal, which I played on normal than the other ones, and they were kind of tough. But this one was like way, way harder.
I played it on easy, and it was brutal. It was brutal, dude. I got stuck in like the middle section of the game.
Yeah, Prince Castor.
Yeah, from Prince Castor to the first time you fight the Knights Nexus. Basically, every boss fight I had to do at least twice, more times for most of the bosses.
Yeah.
They were so brutal, and they got worse as you went along. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm leveling. It makes you level, by the way. They took away the auto leveling features from the last game, which kind of sucked. I'm leveling up. When I get a new job, I level that one up,
explore
as quickly as I can. And I explore it, which helped on the last game. The last game kind of rewarded you for exploring jobs, and so did the first game. And the first game fucked me over for like sticking to some jobs.
Yeah.
And now that I have my cheap party at the end of the fucking game, I'm like, well, if I had just put 2 of these guys on, I'll give you guys the winning party. The winning party, you're going to absolutely destroy everything you come across. Thief, as the sub job. Beastmaster is the main job. You want 2 guys with Beastmaster Thief. The Godspeed Strike Thief ability is ridiculous. If you have the Beastmasters, you get boosts for however many creatures you've captured in your stats. I had full health and full MP on one of my guys, and it was close on the other one. Totally maxed out stats on those 2 guys. Then you have, I think it was Shield Master.
Yeah.
And Artist? No, it wasn't the Artist. Shield Master Oracle or something like that. Whatever. Shield Master for another one for like a defensive class.
Yeah.
And then you have your White Mage / you can either do White Mage and Spirit Bringer or not Spirit Master, right?
Spirit Bringer, I think.
Okay.
I did Red Mage and Spirit Bringer, but it's the same thing. It makes your fucking moves like nuts.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
You either do that or White Mage with the Bard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can do either one of those. Is like a sick healer class. So
yeah,
because
I don't know
if you
why.
have like 2 like god fucking destroyers, and then you have a defender, and then you have another person who could do like stat boosts and regen stuff plus healing, you're set.
Yeah.
So I should have just, because I was like, oh, I'm not going to do it like I did the first Bravely Default. I'm not going to do my cheat party. I'm going to play it like I should play it. That fucked me over so much, dude. It did. Like, I would, whenever you do a new class, it's like, why are they doing less damage? Like, these guys can't hit for shit.
I ended up doing, so I had Beastmaster in the end, my final fight. For most of the game, I was doing Monk for a while, because that was actually pretty good damage, but then it falls off completely. And then what my main strategy was, I would have the Artist ability that like reduced the BP cost of secondary class moves, and I would just have what was it? The random one in the beginning, the very first class you get. What's that thing?
Freelancer.
Freelancer, yeah. I'd have Freelancer so I could do the body slam ability.
Sorry, it was Shield Master Freelancer.
That's what I had too.
That was a sick one.
I'd
sick
only
combo.
use the shield guy, but in the final fight, it doesn't actually matter because he fucking just hits you with impunity. But I still use the shield because sometimes he would hit for single attacks. But the Shield Master, you're like fucking, your health is ridiculous, and you got 2 shields. Like nothing's gonna kill you.
So you can be. That's kind of the backup. If the healer goes, you can throw up Phoenix down.
Yeah, because he's not really attacking, so you haven't like fucking spammed his bravely.
Right.
But I had that, him and those 2, and then I might have had him as a Beastmaster secondary for the stat boost, just to have more health. And then I would do Red Mage, and the Spirit Master was my healer whenever I had a fight where I do a healer. Most of the battles in the game, I tried to have new classes so that I could continually max everything out for everybody. And that was kind of my MO. But once it got to a point where I couldn't win the fight, then it was like, okay, now I'm going to play it like I want to win instead of like I want to get XP for these fucking jobs. And so
that was a major problem for me. I would go to the thing and I'd be like halfway leveled up for the new job or whatever and get into a boss fight and it would be impossible.
You just get your ass fucking kicked.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go to everybody's most beat sticky job at the moment.
Yeah, which is kind of bullshit because I wanted to keep leveling all of them up, but it's like, you guys won't let me, man. You just pound me into the fucking sand.
And basically, once I had... Basically, from like that ending section of the game, so just before Knight's Nexus the first time, all the way to the end, like that last like 5 hours of the game, I had the same class the whole time.
Yeah,
it was just like, I'm not fucking around.
I would still try to do the new jobs, but what I ended up doing for some of them, like I would use the Painter a lot, just because it has the 10% reduction in defense and the 10% reduction in damage. So that's how I beat the fairy. When I had to fight the fairy, she was doing too much damage. So she would just like wipe me. And so I had to like paint this bitch like a couple times just to reduce her damage output. And then I would do it a couple times, 2 and 2, like reduce her defense and then reduce her damage. So I'd survive all of her attacks, and then I'd have Elvis do body slam, and he was doing like 6,000 a hit.
Nice.
So like it would be 24K in one fucking go. And since I had that sub job thing, it would only cost like 2 turns. So every 2 turns, which is sometimes an eternity when they're dealing out sick damage, every 2 turns I'd knock out fucking 24,000 health.
Didn't that body slam miss all the time though?
No, I didn't have that problem. The only time I had that problem was like the last dungeon. I like could not fucking land a hit to save my life. I'm trying to like capture all these bastards.
Dude, Godspeed Strike. It's an expensive NP one, but it always did more than the body slam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I probably played it stupidly then.
You're not playing it stupid. I had to look shit up. I was so stuck all the time. I was like, what's the cheap move that's going to win the day?
Yeah.
And it was like Beastmaster Max, lots of monsters with Godspeed Strike.
And I was doing the monster capture when I got Beastmaster. I thought it was really cool.
No, and your Beastmaster regular attacks will hit pretty good if you have a lot of monsters. And I did.
Yeah.
I've been capturing monsters from the beginning. There was always someone on Beastmaster, and you all share the monsters. It's not like this one guy has 50 monsters. Thank God.
Yeah,
and there's a passive that comes up for the Beastmaster later in the game where it's like whatever monster that character kills, there's a 30%, there's 1 in 3 chance of you capturing the monster.
I wish I would have used that. I never used it.
So that became, I was just doing a ton of capturing until I hit their maxes, and then I was like, I just had that, so it was like a passively bringing in more monsters. Yeah, and then I never used the monsters really past like the middle of the game.
Yeah, I used a few, but yeah. And then the stat boost is sick. Like I captured a bunch in the beginning, and then when you brought up that, it's OP, I kind of started doing it again a little bit, but I didn't do that much of it, and my stats were fucking nuts. Like I had way more. I don't know how much more past the max HP and MP I had, but it was probably a lot.
What's crazy is like the other stats don't even, like the other classes don't even come close.
No, yeah.
Like none of the other like beat sticky sort of classes you would expect. You know, they might do like 2,000, 3,000 damage on a hit, just a regular attack, or if it's a super attack, maybe like 4,000, 5,000, depending on what you're fighting against. If they're weak to your certain weapon, which was a whole nother thing, that one drove me nuts because I'm like, I don't really want to be manually changing weapons out based upon the boss that I'm about to fight. Yeah. But that is what the game is suggesting me do, because certain creatures are weak or resistant to certain
weapons
and magic. So sometimes it's just some of the guys are just brutal on the defense. It'd just be random monsters too.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I can't poke through them. Like I can't poke through their stats. Yeah. And then you'd have to, of course, have like the artist class or the bard class or something in order to give your guys a boost or something.
Yeah, they got like leather hymens on those guys. I can't poke. What the fuck?
Jesus. Wow. Anyway, it was brutal.
In the
this
end,
game is so fucking brutal.
In the end,
dude.
that's how it was for me. Like the last dungeon, I just was like, fuck this place, I'm running. And then the one before, I was just like, dude, like the fairy place, fucking A, man, nothing would hit. I would just miss all day.
I was actually fine in that one. When I realized I had to like change my whole life around, it was the area. It was like the mine area.
Okay.
That you had to cross through to get to the next place.
Yeah.
Oh no, and then the next little fairy section before Magmel. Brutal. Like just the regular enemies. And I remember I was like about to cry, dude. It was like maybe a week ago. I got into this stupid fucking area. No, it wasn't even a week ago, but maybe like 5 days ago. I got into this area, and I just kept dying on like random guys. And I was like, I go into the dungeon, I'd fight one and like be devastated, like my party was weak. And then I'd go into another fight, and then I'd lose, and I would be like, I just lost.
Yeah.
Another 10, 15 minutes, another 10, 15 minutes here, another 10, 15 minutes there. And last week, there is one section of this game where you have to go to each of the kingdoms and you have to do a fight there. And one of them, you got to fight like this, like line after line after line of like army guys in this prison. Do you remember that thing?
Yeah.
I got 2 game overs in that.
Damn.
So I tried so hard on that boss after that, and he wiped the fucking floor with me, dude. And I remember I sat down to, get my 2 or 3 hours in. That's what I'm trying to do every night for this podcast. And my wife was like, you got to end these fucking podcasts. They're ruining our lives. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then I'm sitting down there and I'm like, none of my time counted. None of it. Because I just retried twice on that huge line with no saves between bosses.
Nope, you can walk, but you can't save.
No, and they're like, you can't leave here. Like, the characters will just be like, no, you said you were going to fight. You're going to fight.
You said, dude.
Brutal, dude. Brutal.
I died to that a couple times, and I was fucking mad.
Oh,
it's like, what? It's like, oh, man, yeah, it just brings back that night of fucking... It was like I got home from work a Friday night, and I pop open the fucking screen on the 3DS XL, and I start playing... fucking Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings, and I just the same level for like until I had to go to sleep because I was too tired to be awake. It was like fucking 5 hours, man. I'm like, fuck, my whole day is just gone. Like I could have done whatever I wanted today, and I did nothing. Essentially, nothing happened. I'm in the same fucking spot that I was the second I sat on this fucking couch and opened this game up.
Oh my god!
It's like, give me a break, man. At least give me some XP or some kind of fucking something, some consolation prize. It's just a big fuck you.
That was so stupid.
Yeah, this game is not easy, man. Once I got there were a bunch of fights that you warned me about that I won and done though.
Fuck
like
you, dude.
Like the old man.
I'm just glad I was doing max damage on Knight's Nexus and just fried him.
I was not doing max damage. I was doing like 5,000.
Oh, okay. That still would have been okay. Would have been a much harder fight, though. At 5,000 apiece.
It wasn't easy, but... I mean, the last one was easy once I paid attention to the fact that it was like, oh, press this button. Because at first I was just like, Jesus, fuck. Like, I was like, God damn.
Oh, yeah, you got to press brave over it.
Yeah. And then, there was also one that was like, remember. The little tab that said remember. Well, if you don't, dude, holy shit. I'm like...
And I remembered, so I don't know what you were doing.
God, I had like one guy that could do one move, and then he would just go fucking ape shit. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to beat this game? It's like fucking 1:30 in the morning, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck was that? Like, I died to the first phase once because he fucking berserked everybody, and they just kept like basic attacking. And I'm like, well, that sucks. And then I finally get past the first one. It was the second try. And then I fucking just get annihilated because I wasn't paying attention to that dumbass little, remember tab. The member tabs. And then, it was like, I don't even know what the fuck it was doing. But like, I would do one move with one guy. It was just Seth. Everybody else would just stand there all like fucking like brain dead. And he would just fucking nail you. Like he'd let you do it twice, like one move twice. And he was my shield bearer guy, so he could not do any damage.
Oh no.
He'd let you do one move twice, and then he would just fucking like 8 attacks straight of just sick damage. And yeah, she would like revive everybody with her passive, but then he would just keep fucking nailing me. And I was like, whoa. So for about 5 minutes, I thought it was going to be impossible to beat this game, and then I saw the stupid ass remember thing, and I'm like, oh, it's a gimmick fight. Okay,
remember how to beat this game?
Yeah, I was like, remember, this game's actually really easy. Yeah. Like, no, I don't remember. It's been brutal for hours. It's been brutal since like the second fucking area in the game.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude, it was. I think I had, I should have gotten a snapshot of my gameplay time, but I didn't. It was just over 40 hours. I want to say it was like 44 hours or something like that.
Okay.
Was my like save time. I guarantee you at least 10 hours not counted in that thing. Like, I know with the amount of game overs I got, dude, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Now, look, I think the game might have been a lot easier if all I did was do side quests and run around the map and fuck around. And, you know, I don't know if it would be easier, but you get more XP from like the super monsters that are on the, you know, world map or whatever.
Yeah, it is.
I never beat a single one of those things. I ran into those things like 3 times and I'm like, fuck this. I'm not doing this.
I beat one of them, but it was when I came back.
Okay.
And it was like a side quest to kill him. But one of them was like the Jormungandr guy. I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to be him unless you just capture monsters all day.
Ugh.
But my playtime was 60 hours and 50 minutes.
Official.
Yeah. No, the Switch would probably say around 65, if not more. Because I lost some hours to the pain.
Man. And I was on easy, dude. I was on easy, and it was still brutal.
And like the classes, I don't know how the fuck they do their classes as bosses. Because you're like, oh, this class is gonna make this game a cakewalk, and then you get it, and it's like, how the fuck was this guy doing this to me, dude? It's okay, but like Caster's class, I'm like, this isn't even that good, and he was fucking wrecking me for like ever, man.
Did you get to the level 14s on any of the classes? I got it on Freelancer.
I got it on Freelancer, and that's it.
Okay.
It said there were like things around the world.
Yeah, you got to go do side quests and collect stuff to do that. I was just wondering because you were doing extra stuff.
No, once I unlocked that was like 2 days ago.
That would be pretty rewarding. I think if you were playing New Game Plus and you like wanted to beat this game back, because I mean, it already hit me so hard. I want to hit it back. So there's a part of me that if I was like 21, maybe I would go back and like, fuck you, I'm going to New Game Plus this thing and nuke this fucking game. I don't care. I'm going to be doing everything's going to be max damage and nothing's going to touch me.
Yeah.
And I'm skipping all the cutscenes.
It's fun enough to do that. Yeah, I think so. It would be a good time. And I only did the 14 on the one, though.
It would be. The classes, they're so nerfed in this one. That really is pretty much like Beastmaster all day or bust now. Spirit Bringer, whatever the hell, Spirit Master. I honestly can't remember what she's called.
Yeah. That one's good.
Yeah, that one's a really good class.
Mixed with the white mage or any mage, it's like crazy good.
Yeah.
So you get like a regen ability every turn, and it makes your heals. I think when I had it with it was Oracle is also another good one. With the healer, because that one you would do double casts on everything for free. The second cast was free, but the Spirit Bringer is too much. He is too good to not use.
Was it Hellblade where you like sacrificed a chunk of your hit?
It was kind of like the Dark Knight.
Yeah, it was decent hits, but it would be like a glass cannon.
It wasn't like last time though, dude. Where I would I would do that. I would do the 25%. Or no, I would do the Phoenix Flight, go down to 1 HP, and then I would do the fucking minus strike. It's like fucking 18,000 damage a turn. And I've got 1 health, so I'm probably going to die, but who cares, man? I just did like a fuck ton of damage. Yeah, they nerfed all of them in this game, except for the Beastmaster, which is only not nerfed because it's like a 9-hour fucking side quest to make it sick. But did you use the passive to capture instead of kill?
Yeah.
Oh, I should have done
that. As soon as I found out that was the thing, I started doing that. I just left it on there. And then, I would see the little thing every once in a while pop up saying I captured it. And I'd be like, yes, another. I don't have to, because the fights go maybe 3 times longer if you're capturing monsters.
Yeah.
So.
Because you got to not kill them.
Yeah.
Which means you have to have the class that's Beastmaster. There's certain moves they can do that cost a ton of mana.
Yeah.
That just beat the shit out of them.
It's like Mercy Strike and Mercy Smash.
Yeah, and it like won't quite kill them.
So I would Brave, and it would be Mercy Smash, Capture, Mercy Strike, Capture. So the guy would get 2 hits and try to capture each time, and then I would have 2 going. So then another guy would be on Beastmaster, and they would both be trying to do that back and forth.
Yeah.
Until they were both at high enough level, which I think it was like level 12's ability or something like that. It was, no, not level 12. It was like level 10's ability. in order to have that passive.
Yeah.
Once I got there, I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to fight things and level up.
Yeah. One thing I did like a lot about this game is even the, like the class, like the painter class, you're like shitting on it.
Yeah, it's a shitty class by itself, for sure. It's just, when I got that thing for the first time and I was trying to level it, everything was just destroyed me, dude.
Yeah.
Because I took one of my beat stick characters, because I had three pretty strong, like three of them were pretty strong, and I kept the the Gloria character.
Yeah,
I kept her as the healer. Everybody else was doing some decent damage. As soon as I switched one of them to artist, it's like the game just took a shit. It's like no one was doing any damage. The artist class didn't seem to be like, the Dobbs never worked for me. I was like, what the fuck is this stupid Dobb thing? Yeah. Like, it was nice to get a little bit more damage, but then the other classes weren't doing anything. I'm like, I keep losing because I'm trying to level up like two mage classes. I think Gloria was on like red mage or something like that, and it was just like not working out.
No, the damage is not. The magic damage in this series is ass. I don't know what it is.
You could do, if it's on their weakness, it's okay.
Yeah.
So you do like 2, maybe 3,000 damage near the end of the game, but that's nothing compared to what you can do in a physical attack.
Man. Like even the body slam, the lesser version, I was doing like 6,000 plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I one thing I did like though is even that class I liked, the artist class, just because of the debuff and the buffs. Like you could,
sure, but I like Bard better than that. He can at least do that for like everybody at the same time.
Yeah, Bard's a little better. I liked the artist for the debuff, but there's that artist ability, that passive that's reduce the BP cost of your secondary class. Yeah. That one's sick. And so I liked that they made each of the classes like worth your while in some way.
Yeah, because there was a passive that you can then paste on your character. They did that in the other games.
Yeah, remember. I feel like
to some extent it's more so in this game.
Yeah, sure. I feel like they balanced the classes better more in this one, but that also kind of makes it harder too.
Yeah,
then the game just kicks your ass.
Yeah,
you can't just screw it over.
You can't have. So, like, you have to have at least 2 people that are near max level on whatever job they're working on, because otherwise you're like, and they have to be some beat sticks in there.
Yeah. The last class you unlock,
otherwise you're fucked,
had some cool abilities. Like, there was one that I could do that would do damage based on how long I played the game.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I did like 3,000.
Was that the Brave Maker or something like that?
Yeah, whatever the last guy was.
Okay.
Yeah, he had like some cool move sets, but I
looked at him, I'm like, those look interesting. I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah, time to beat the game.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of it, but then when I was in the last dungeon, the skeleton guys, like, dude, it was bad news whenever I ran into them, so I just fucking ran.
Ugh.
I was like, fuck this. So when like the treasures, they were ass, but also one of them had like 7 of those fucking skeletons in it. I'm like, dude, I can't even fucking do anything. You guys are just kicking my ass.
Oh, that's too bad.
So I'm like, fuck you.
Last area for me, dude, was Godspeed Strikes, and I killed everything. And I loaded up on Ethers and Tents.
Yeah, Ethers, yeah. Because this one, like, I had to accept, and normally most of these games I don't really do much magic, but your MP is just fucking dog shit in here. So like,
your characters, there's a lot of sacrificing of MP and HP for a lot of the classes too.
Yeah, so I had a lot of Ethers, and I bought like 20 elixirs in the end.
Wow.
Just to have. Yeah.
How did you afford that?
A lot of money.
Jesus.
I was like, it was like Lawnmower Simulator 2021 for me for half of this game.
Okay, explain that.
So like when you're walking around the map or anywhere, if you attack trees and bushes and stuff, you'll cut it down, and sometimes there's shit in there.
Yep.
So there's like a bunch of money and random stuff, and that's how I got my first elixir. And the cool thing about this game is once you unlock an item, when you get the item the first time, you can go buy it. So I could buy elixirs like 30 hours into this thing.
Nice.
Which was pretty crazy.
I couldn't buy it until like almost the end.
Yeah, I think there's like a chest that has one. Probably grabbed.
And then I saw that it was 10,000. I'm like, yeah, that's like one decent sword. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like here's a fucking can of Coke. Like, oh, it's a vitamin juice mix or whatever, and then a fucking sword, and they cost the same.
Yeah. What do you want, kid? You want a gun or do you want a Fanta? I'm going to have to go with the gun.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But it was that was an interesting aspect of the game. I didn't do much lawnmower simulation.
Oh man, I was like killing it with my my landscaping abilities.
Nice.
Very good.
So past the landscaping ability, something that was way different about this game was just the monsters on the battlefield. The monsters are roaming around, and then you can start a fight with them, and then you go into the battle screen. So no more random encounters, but that also means that you can't do like just
Turning
you can't double the encounter rate, which was something super useful in the last game.
Well, you actually can. It's just items that are in your inventory.
Does it double it? I found there's like bait where you can, if you run into a certain type of creature and you've eaten like bait made for aquatic creatures or whatever, or eaten or put out, I don't know how that works. Anyway, your guy is like shiny when he's walking around the map, and then there'll be these like symbols above the creatures that you can fight, or if you just get like I had the aquatic ones. That was the one where I was like, well, I know the turtles are aquatic and there's a bunch of turtles roaming around in like the second to last area, so I can go fight those things and put the bait on, and then you can get into like 3 fights, in a row with no stopping, and there'll be a bit of a JP boost there, but that's not double encounter rate. You still have to run around and go find shit, and it takes time.
The only closest you can do is like try to chain them together, because if you have 2 of them chasing you and you hit them, then you'll do both.
You say chase like most things don't run away from you at this game.
Yeah, that's true. So
it's chase in the new areas.
It's not as good as the last game by any mean. No, and like the last game, you could go back to an area that you just kick everything's ass, and you could just
JP grind,
just go, and you get fucking sick amounts of JP.
Yeah,
because it's just every time you go without having to like give the enemy a turn, you get a new set of dudes to kill, and so you can time it out to where you just get like 7 straight on these easy ass guys, and you're getting sick.
I really missed that.
I do too, yeah. I missed the last game playing this game, even though I was having fun.
I also missed the mini-map in the dungeons.
Yeah, that's fucking...
I got lost.
I can't believe
in the
they
dungeons
took that
a
away.
few times. Whew.
I can't believe they took away the mini-maps. It's so fucking stupid to me.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, well, we don't have a second screen.
Yeah, come on. You got a big-ass screen.
Like, just give me the mini-map like you give me the mini-map in the world map.
Yeah, you need it less there, I would say, than in the dungeon. But.
Yeah, I think so. Gosh, what else? Oh, yeah, the old lady with the ship.
Yeah, also another lesser addition. So the coolest one so far has been...
The first one,
I would say. Rebuilding the village. The second one had the awesomeness of the Chompcraft minigame. Which I've spent way too much time in,
and I never touched. So there's a pattern there.
Yeah. And this one, you go, and while your console is in sleep mode, Seth goes and voyages out to sea from some old lady you do a side quest for to get a boat. And while he's out to sea, you can meet up with other characters. Most of them are AI, but if you're connected to the internet, supposedly you can like run into other people who are playing the game, and that happened a couple of times, but it didn't really change anything for me. And
you'll be like, "What's that Japanese name?"
Yeah, who's that? And you'll find random treasures while you're out exploring, and your game is off. So it gets you that little like dopamine hit of like, ooh, what do I get in my random treasure box?
Yeah, but the stuff isn't that great.
No, it's not as good. Like when you get the big JP.
Oh yeah, large JP.
Those are pretty sick.
Whew, those are sick.
Sometimes you'll do like a 12-hour session, which is the maximum time that you can be out to sea. And I'll get like 2 fucking things, man. Like every once in a while, it's just like garbage RNG, and it'll be like money. It's like, I don't need money.
Lame.
I want the orbs, man. Give me those orbs. So it was a cool it was a cool thing, but it was definitely the worst version out of all three.
Yeah.
For me.
I did not use the moon that much. So actually, I think this was better for me.
Just because of how long you played this game.
Just because of how long I played this game.
Yeah.
And definitely had some good level up sessions because the RNG is pretty not like it's all over the place. Whether or not you get like within that 12-hour session, which is the max amount of time, if you get a whole bunch of JP orbs or if you just get like a couple. There was one time I got like a bunch.
Yeah.
And it was like a couple like large JP orbs and it just like cranked out a level on this guy and I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I would usually give him
the stat
Seth,
boosts.
and I'd have Seth like be the trial and error for each class. But yeah, you'll get like little buns, fucking like I don't know, bakery goods out to sea. And they'll have permanent stat increases. Those are pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
The only annoying thing about those is they're so dependent on your job that it'll increase it, but if you switch jobs, that job could like fucking destroy it anyway.
True.
It will be up overall.
I would usually put it on whoever had the highest of that number. I would put it on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always did the lowest.
Because I thought about that. I'm like, no, I want these people to be hitting hard on whatever they're
and that
doing.
would make them better versions of whatever job they currently are.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
As opposed to bringing up a job that...
Because all the characters, I believe, have the same base stats. So you could just be putting it on... You're basically just making it random if you're putting it on the lowest guy.
Yeah, in the end, yeah.
So I just figured, if someone's got a high HP or high physical attack, just make it higher.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad. I guess I'm glad I did that. The stat boosts are not huge, but
no.
But the JP orbs were nice, and getting like, some ethers every once in a while, not too bad, I guess.
Yeah. It was a cool little mobile game gotcha thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was as good as the other two.
I kind of wish they wouldn't max out. Kind of wish you could just let it go.
Yeah, and that was annoying. And it's also annoying because while you're playing, it doesn't count either. Whereas the moon and the village, it was just time. And so it would count while you were off, like actually playing the game.
It might be how the Switch is built or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
But no, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that aspect actually. Like I should have been using it more. And then when I found out exactly how it worked, like I thought I was like, oh, he's out still exploring, and then I had forgotten to put him out or something like that, and I was like, damn it, I missed out.
Yeah.
As soon as I started doing that, it was like every time I got in, I would, check the exploring log and then launch him out again.
Yeah. What also sucks is if you let's say I woke up today and I still had to beat it. If I wake up, I'll get like a bunch of updates about what he was doing out to sea. But then if I die, it's all gone.
It's all gone. Yeah.
Every bit of it. So
yep. That happened one time for me. It was, that was too much. That was brutal.
Yeah.
Another brutality from this game yet again. But overall, man, the gameplay is pretty solid in this one. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
I can't pretend I had as much fun as I did in the last game.
No, the last one was peak for the series, I think.
But it was still a pretty damn good time.
Yeah.
And I was afraid because when we started this game, I really hated how it looked. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was a little worried too. I was like,
the battle system started and I wasn't used to it. And I was like,
Yeah. I was like, man, these did better as chibi little DS games, which I still agree with. I still think that. But no, it's good. It's a good one.
Speaking of the look of the game, what'd you think of their move to the Switch?
I don't
DS?
I don't like the look of it as much. It doesn't look bad or anything, but I liked the art style of the old ones. I felt like they did more with less, almost. And this one is it just looks like a modern game.
Yeah, to me, this just looks like a just generic Crystal Chronicles sort of Final Fantasy spinoff. Everybody looks like shiny clay.
Yeah.
I don't love the fully motion 3D scenes. Like they're weird to me. And then the regular game stuff, it looks like a mobile title or something like that. I do not like the look of this game. If there's one giant disappointment in this game for me, it's like there was like this painterly old school charm of the first two games.
This has none of that.
This is like
and that's where I think the DS kind of shines, is because it has way less power, so they can't do as much. So they have to kind of like. But I don't know if that's even fair necessarily, though, because a lot of it was stylistic that made the last games look so cool.
Yeah, and they could have kept to that.
Yeah.
With this one, they could have kept like a painterly style, and you'd see more. And there might be more color or something like that, but it did not need to. This was a complete, like, flipped it on its head in not a good way, I think.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it looks bad or anything by any stretch of the imagination, but I think the style was completely lost from the last game. And
it's also hard to look at it as a sequel to that first one.
Yeah.
Like, they don't blend into each other.
No, not really, yeah. So I would agree. That's probably the worst part about the game. It's just the way it looks. And it doesn't look bad. It just looks so different from the other games in the series that it almost doesn't belong visually. So,
what about the music and sound?
I thought the music was actually really good in this one. I liked how they had different tracks for like nighttime on the world map. Like the nighttime would hit in, you get like a jazzier version of the theme. Like, and the sun would come up and it'd be like the upbeat, like faster. I thought all of the music was good. There's nothing like super amazing to me that like I was like, oh man, that's a song I want to listen to. But I thought it was all really well done. The voice acting was really good. I didn't have any problems with those guys.
Yeah, the voice acting was about standard with the rest of the series. I don't think the characters were as good, but that's not really a sound problem.
No.
The music was solid. It was solid. I don't think I had the sound on as much during this one as I did with Bravely Default or in Bravely Second.
Right.
So I guess I didn't get to enjoy it as I would hum around like Bravely Default songs and Bravely Second songs when I was playing it, but this one I just didn't have the sound on as much. I played this in an airplane and stuff like that for large swaths of time, so I don't think I got as familiar with the music. And this time around, like, my wife was watching a lot of TV, and we're in a small apartment. We're all sharing the room, so TV's on. I'm going to turn off the sound of the game.
Yeah. Could
be another reason why I didn't pay attention to the story at all. Was that I just didn't have the sound on. But, yeah, from what I heard, it was solid. Went with the rest of the series.
Yeah.
You started humming that piece of music, and I do remember that one. So, I think one thing that annoyed me was when you're in the 4x speed and you're attacking things in Bravely Default, all the characters are saying they're like, "Hi-yas, wah, ya, ya."
Yeah.
I'll get you now, or like all these things so quickly, and there's so much of it. I thought that was a little bit much, but otherwise it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, not much to say. I do think it feels more like the first one, which makes sense because it was the first guy, and I think he's probably better as a composer.
Yeah, maybe. They kind of blended in for me on the last game. It didn't really notice a difference. Yeah. Which is kind of good for the second composer because he didn't really make a huge, but neither a huge impact nor did he do something that was like what?
Yeah.
So that's good. All right. Well,
what about the vocal track? Didn't pay attention to it.
The vocal track?
Yeah, at the end. Japanese vocal tracks.
Oh no, I skipped the cuts. Or I skipped the credits, bro. Yeah. Those credits started rolling, and I would go boop.
Nah.
Skip. Yes. Then I saw the little teaser at the end, and then it said you can do New Game Plus now. Yeah, so that's my review of the song at the end. What'd you think?
I skipped it. I listened to it the first time during credits 1.
Oh, credits 1?
Yeah.
Not credit 2 or credit 3?
No, I skipped it after that.
Okay.
So it was whatever.
Was there a part of you that was like, oh, if I press skip, is it going to skip? I think there was like one game, maybe it was like Kingdom Hearts title or something, where when I pressed skip in the credits, it like skipped a scene after the credits.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I'm scared of that happening. Well, not anymore. These games are done. But
who would know? Yeah. If everyone skips, then
that's true.
There is no scene.
That's a good point. There is no scene. No one was there to see it.
That's right. If a post credit scene is there but no one's there to see it, does it exist?
It's the age old philosophical question.
Yeah. Yeah, if a shitty Marvel movie has a post credit scene but no one stayed to the end, does the scene happen? Is it canon?
Is it canon? That's kind of our opinion on the game. Let's get into listener reviews, which we do have 3 or maybe 4 emails.
Let's do it. We have one here from Armand. Hey, Joe and Caleb. Hope I didn't miss the review. My name is Armand from Canada, eh? I found your podcast. No, I'm just kidding. I found your podcast
You're
about
going to do a Jordan Peterson impersonation?
Yeah. About 3 years ago. I do some traveling for work and wanted to try listening to a podcast for the first time ever. I came across yours, listened to the first 2 episodes, FF1 and 2 review. I thought it was terrible. Tried the third another day. The quality was better, and I got hooked. I got hooked. I've gone through every episode except for FF7 Rebirth because I haven't finished the game yet. You guys are a riot. I love the bantering back and forth and the rants. You guys have made a lot of my traveling days better. Thank you so much. Wait a minute. Okay. I've played all the mainline FF games, some spin-offs. My first FF game was 6 on the SNES, and then FF1 on NES. Fell in love with the series ever since. I've played the first 3 Mana games and only played Bravely Default 2. Wow. My take on Bravely Default 2 is, it is a good game. Gameplay is fun. I like the speed up function. It makes grinding better. I like the job system. I've always liked the job system in FF games. I'm one to try and grind out all the jobs for every character to max. The music was good. Not the best I've heard. Story-wise, it was alright. It got repetitive and boring quickly. I got so bored, I put it down for 6 months and then came back to it and still didn't want to finish it. But I may have made it...
You could just turn off your brain during cutscenes like I do.
Yeah, and it'll be easy.
Yeah.
I may have made it boring for myself by maxing out all the jobs and cheesing the system with the Beastmaster. But I got through it and beat the game. All in all, it was an alright game. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Thanks again for the ultimate FF podcast. You guys made the hours go by fast and became friends over the years. I'm sad it's almost done, but now I'm going to give Nudes Clan a try. Oh my god. Thanks again, Armand. Well, if you
look up
want to hate
Nudes
us,
Clan, you might be disappointed.
Yeah, I don't know what Nudes Clan is, but it might be disappointing or really awesome.
It's my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
All right, should I get this one from Frost? Sorry if this is more of a collection of thoughts than a coherent paragraph. Let me open this by saying that I purchased a Switch to play the game. I love this series. Aside from the insane number of jobs/equipment combinations you can create, the battle music is the best part of this game. While I love the Asterisk theme from 1, Revo really outdid himself by giving each boss battle a new twist. I thought the story was fine overall. I think the best stretch was from the end of Chapter 2 through the start of Chapter 4, Foley through Lonsdale. I really liked the Sir Sloan stuff, and that was probably my favorite Asterisk battle. Truff can die in a fire. Dude, I killed Sir Sloan in like it was
2 seconds.
Yeah, because it was so late in the game, and I had it like I had the Beastmaster thing going, and I just went 4. It was 4 Godspeed strikes and 4 Godspeed strikes, and it was just like destruction.
Nice
For that last Asterisk. I love that they leaned into the typical Bravely time shenanigans and even hit you with multiple rounds of credits.
Yeah.
The OST has tracks named Final Boss Battle A, Final Boss Battle B1, Final Boss Battle B2, and Final Boss Battle C1, and Final Boss Battle C2. My team was Seth as Shieldmaster / Valkyrie, Super Tank, Gloria as Black Mage / Oracle, although I used Brave Bearer for the final battle, Elvis Spirit Master / White Mage for healing. Seriously, the Spirit Master is invaluable in this game. That's true, except for 2 of the bosses take off the re-raises on you.
Yeah. The ones at the end, it's bullshit.
They're near the end. The actual ending ones did not do that for me. But and then Adele, Ranger / Bard, a single target nuke machine with infinite BP. I didn't use any guides, so it was really fun to play around with the combinations to find the ones that fit my playstyle. The final boss was pretty tough. I believe I was around level 68, although apparently Godspeed Strike is just broken. And for some reason, I had decided that break damage limit would make the game too easy, so I avoided using that until the post-game. What?
Dang.
Dude. All right. Since each boss is a puzzle, and you have to completely change your team around for each one, I wish this game had a way to save a team loadout so that I could revert to my grinding setup after each boss.
Oh, that would be cool, yeah.
Yeah, that would be. Or make it less brutal with the fucking bosses, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. They also added some particularly good post-game challenges to unlock level 15 jobs in Ultimate Equipment. And it took me only 68 hours to 100% this.
Oh, dang.
What the hell are you doing, Schweiss?
I don't know.
Compared to 208 for FF7 Rebirth.
Damn.
Questions. Did you do the multi-boss challenge portals?
No.
No. I don't know what that is. Multi-boss challenge portals. Did you fight the super boss dragon? No.
No, I fought some of the super bosses, but I couldn't kill them.
Did you notice that Revo sampled Wicked Flight from Bravely Default 1 in the first boss fight theme? And did you notice that sampled the Castle Cornelia theme from FF1? No.
Nope.
Nope, but you did. So we all learned something today.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats on finishing the list, assuming Visions of Mana isn't out yet, which it is not.
Thank God.
Oh, man.
Part of me wants to see how bad it could be.
It is August 26th.
Isn't that coming out like tomorrow?
I think it's the 29th, but it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. All the games on the list were beaten.
But we do still have a book, so we're not done.
We are doing a book. Yeah, we're doing a book.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more from Brulo. You want to take that one?
Yeah, Bravely Default 2 review. Hey guys, I haven't finished Bravely Default 2 yet since you all have been tearing through these games, but I feel I played enough of 1, 2, and 2 to provide some thoughts. Bravely Default as a series has been a fantastic breath of fresh air from the FF spin-off Doldrums of Mana, Kingdom Hearts, etc. shit titles you've been making us play. I didn't play Bravely Default for years, mostly due to the gay-ass titles that Square has been slapping on games like this. Man, was I missing out. These games harken back to FF 1 through 6 in the best ways possible, and are some of the most fun turn-based games I've played in years. The stories are mostly meh, but quirky in fun enough ways that they don't drag down the game. Really, the best part about these games is the combat. Fast-paced, tons of quality of life, and easy level up make for a very rewarding, fun experience. Not only have these games become some of my favorites, but they would outrank a ton of FF games on my overall list. Since this is for Bravely Default 2 review, I'll say that I think this game is an absolute blast to play, but is easily the worse than the 2DS games. Hopefully we get a third Bravely Default soon. Rankings for the series, second and various layers. That's number 1. Bravely Default 1. Strongly reset to base 2. That's third.
Nice.
Cheers, Brulo.
All right. Well, that's some of your guys' reviews out there. I will double check the Discord. I did tell them we were reviewing it now. And nope, nothing new. So thank you guys for sending in those reviews. Gosh, yeah, if you have anything to send us for our final send-off episode, you can write whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do that into fffanatics123@gmail.com. Or I guess in the reviews and questions area. I guess that's not going to hurt.
Yeah, just review the entire... Just review us.
Yeah, review
our lives.
Review the show, and then I'm going to need you to rank all 370 something episodes of this podcast.
Yeah, if you don't have rankings, we're not going to mention you on the final episode.
No. So many hours, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How did we have more episodes of Nude Clan, though? How did that
we started
happen?
doing 2 a week for a while, so that'll help.
Yeah, that
so
would
we got
catch
about
it
100 about 100 of those were bi-weekly.
God, dude, I've done like 800 podcasts or something like that. Something sick.
Yeah.
If I include my job, I've also done like another 150 there. So
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I counted it up one day, and I was almost at 1,000, I think.
Jesus. Well, it's a 10,000 hour rule, so that's maybe 2,000 hours of podcasting. So you're gonna have to step it up.
Yeah. The cool thing is, Podcast Addict will tell you how many hours total each show has.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Do you want to know?
Oh no.
I'll tell you.
We should probably do that for the final episode, but I'm curious now, so let's...
I'll tell you, but not here.
Okay.
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts on the game. Solid entry. It grew on me. I grew to like the game more as I was playing it. Then I started getting stuck, and then I started getting pissed off. It was good. I will say that it's lost a lot of the charm and some of the quality of life from the previous title, Bravely Second End Layer. So in comparison, it doesn't do too well, but as far as just a FF spin-off old school RPG throwback title on its own, it's really good. Really good.
Yeah. I think these games are awesome. I'll probably play the next one in the series when it comes out.
Yeah.
I don't see why I wouldn't. I've enjoyed all 3 of these enough to where I think it would be a fun experience to get that battle system again.
It needs to be on PlayStation with trophies.
Yeah. Got to get that reward. Yeah.
I want to, this would be a good game to be like, you got everything. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Bravely Default podcast. I am Joe.
I am Caleb.
And today is our final official video game review for Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. How does that feel?
Oh, man, that feels great. You know, it feels like such a... the moment I've got the 9th set of credits in this game, I had such a fucking weight lifted off of me. I was like, man, I beat it again and again and again, and now it's finally actually done.
I mean, you're not far off. It was 4 false endings. 4.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
With full credits.
Did the last one have... Or no, the first one had a bad ending, right?
Yeah, it was officially the bad ending.
Okay. Because this had me thinking, did I actually not beat the first game? And I was kind of getting bugged by that. Not enough to look it up, but
no.
I was like, I think I remember it was the bad ending, not the end. Like this would have been not the end if you would have just called it.
Every single Bravely Default has had some bullshit turnaround.
Some kind of time travel or gotcha switcheroo.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know you were supposed to break the crystal? Oh, you didn't know you're supposed to whatever?
Yeah, well, I broke it, but apparently I broke it too soon.
Yeah.
And because the guy was like, break it. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll break it. Hell yeah, I'll keep going. Yeah, every one of them's got to be like...
Oh, it was break the crystal. The second one was you had to bravely second.
Yeah.
In a fight, or else you start the whole game over again.
Yeah, I wonder how that would play if everything kind of scaled to where you're at so that you would just play it again as a normal RPG.
Yeah. This one you have to say no instead of going in and fighting because obviously in the future she'll die or whatever. And then, oh gosh, what was the second false ending? It was...
You have to walk away for the first one. The second one,
Oh, you fight the Knight's Nexus and
then she traps all the fairies, and they like get trapped there to kind of hold them in place.
right.
And then you basically it's almost the same thing. You just don't do that instead.
And then there was you save over your game, or the next time you save a game. Gosh, is there a war going on upstairs? I don't know if you guys could hear that on the podcast, but
Yeah.
you save over your game, you have to save in the purple slot, like the glitch slot, and then that suddenly like brings up a whole new thing.
Yeah. So now it's like Metal Gear Solid-esque as well. Oh no, the Bravely Default 2, Bravely Second it was like deleting your shit too.
Yeah, they threatened
The
to
end.
do that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
It reminds me of that part in Metal Gear Solid 2 where like the game's just fucking with you, and like the gameplay area just goes to like the tiny little corner, and then it's like retry, continue, and if you press either of them, you like have to load your game back up, but if you just leave it alone, it'll like fix itself. Reminds me of that.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's not as sweet as that, but
No, it's not as sweet as the Metal Gear Solid ones. It's more frustrating, and also if you're not, if you're only half paying, maybe quarter paying attention to the story like I do, I am not getting the little dialogue cues that are like telling you to do something. I'm going and I'm like, why? Okay, I got credits. Then I go back in. Nothing, still the same. Nothing changes. I fight Knight's Nexus twice.
Yeah.
The cutscenes are the same, and I'm like, what is happening? Then I have to look it up.
yeah, it's a little ridiculous because you end up just walking away from the whole thing,
Yeah,
and then that's like opens up another ending. Which
crazy.
is, I say another ending. It's not really another ending. It's just another false ending, another fake out.
that's right.
Because there's only one ending to the game, technically.
Just like there's only one ending to this podcast,
That's right.
right?
Technically.
Technically. We do have a book left.
Yeah, you've started it, right? You're like,
Yeah, I'm page 50.
nah.
All I did, that's all. I did that for like an hour yesterday and got to page 50.
How is it? Is it as good as the 15 one?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
No, it's not.
You know who wrote it, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Doesn't surprise me. I have highlighted areas that need to be read out loud a couple times. It's really meandery and nothing's happening. I'm 50 pages in.
Yeah, you should have something because it's only a 400-page book. That's an eighth of the way.
Yeah, should be the end of the first sequence.
Yeah.
Ish. Speaking of stories and terrible writing, hope you guys enjoyed Ultimate Final Fantasy in the Capsule of Time that came out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the last one yet. I didn't know it was out until I read Discord earlier. That one's a good one.
All 8
Fine
parts. All 8.
one. You want to do the unfiltered version on Patreon still?
Yeah, I actually mixed an audio thing for it. I just got to remember to upload. I think you are the only one with the Patreon login right now.
Oh,
so
I'll have to upload.
yeah, you'll have to upload it as a post. So guys, support us on Patreon in order to get the us giggling between lines cut of UFF in the Capsule of Time. The link will be in the description, and also you can join the discussion in Discord. Probably by the time this episode comes out, we will have read the book.
Yeah.
But in case we didn't, go ahead and tell us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and
Traces of Two Paths or whatever.
Traces of Two Paths, yes. Very hard title. I tried to get Alex to order it like 3 weeks ago, and she couldn't find it, and it's because I fucked up what it was called. And I'm just like, God damn it, man. But I haven't started it yet, so I have no opinion. I'll probably do it on our trip that we're about to go on to Seattle for Metallica.
Okay. I get car sick if I look at a phone or look at a book when I'm a passenger.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I don't have...
Otherwise, I would get so much reading done.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't have that problem. I don't get car sick or anything.
Oh, man, I do. I'd have to take Dramamine, and then I'd fall asleep in the middle of the book instead.
Yeah,
So
that's my big problem. I'm just so deprived of sleep these days that when I try to read, I just doze off.
Yeah, just can't take it anymore.
No, so we'll see how long this takes me, I guess.
We will be doing some sort of finale episode for UFF, so If you have any final messages for us, email us at fffanatics123@gmail.com. That is fffanatics123@gmail.com. Any final questions? Anything you've been dying to ask us? Any final thoughts on the Final Fantasy series? Just whatever you want to put down. We'd appreciate having you guys add your 2 cents into wrapping up 10.4 years of this podcast or whatever we're at right now.
Yeah.
3 months late in terms of beating all the games, but
that's really not that bad considering how many we had.
It's not that terrible.
We had a ton.
Yeah, it was 50. Just the Final Fantasy games was 50-something games. So
yeah.
It'll probably be like 70 games for this podcast, dude.
Yeah, I wrote, it was like a list of all the RPGs I've ever beaten. Like all of them. I think I'm at like 90 or something right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is insane.
Are you going to retire at 100?
Yeah, maybe. I'll just have to like really pick the last few that I play. It's like what's supposed to be the greatest RPGs. I mean, I have enough that I haven't played up here in the collection.
I mean, there's a lot of Western RPGs I feel like you're missing just because we've been doing this for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of big titles.
I mean, I did all the Diablos, all the Fables, all the...
Elden Rings, though?
Yeah, I beat all the Souls.
Or not the Elden Rings. Skyrim, that Skyrim series.
I beat Skyrim. I haven't beaten Oblivion.
Like Oblivion and Morrowind.
I played Oblivion for like 1,000,000 hours, but I never did beat it.
Oblivion, Morrowind, Dragon Age.
Yeah, Dragon Age is supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just figure what I'll end up doing at the end is just like playing random strategy games. Like I am kicking myself for not picking up like Sid Meier's Pirates for the PSP when I saw it the other day. And now they sold
That game's fun.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I kind of wish I would have grabbed that thing. Like,
is that a port of the PC one that came out, or is
I think so. And it's just on the PSP.
Yeah, that's the one that I mean, there were 2 versions of that game, right? There was like the old Sid Meier's Pirates, and then there was the one that came out when we were like teenagers.
Yeah.
And that's the one I played, and that one was a lot of fun. Honestly, I played that thing for a stupid amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't buy it though, stupidly, and now it's gone.
Speaking of Sid Meier's, this is what I was like, okay, all right, wife. I said to my wife, all right, wife. I am gonna go to gaming just one night a week, probably. Depends on how schedules line up with other things. And because now we've beaten Bravely Default 2.
Yeah.
I have no more gaming to do. And if I read that book in like an afternoon or 2, it's like, it's over, right?
Yeah.
And, we still have some gaming to do on Nude Clan. And it's like, well, I can either piecemeal that and enjoy it, or I can plow, right? And I said, wife, I'm only going to do one game a week, like one night a week of gaming. A good session, like 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah.
Probably do it with you or with other friends online or something like that.
Considering how much we've been doing for all these years, that's really not that much.
That's not that much, but it's like
nothing.
But then I saw Civilization 7's coming out, and I'm like, oh no, maybe I spoke too soon.
Yeah. How about 3 5-hour sessions a week?
How about 7 5-hour sessions a week, and I actually never do anything with my life?
Yeah. I didn't like 6 as much, but I feel like we didn't give 6
we didn't give it
as many hours. Yeah.
No, and my computer wasn't strong enough for 6. I know yours probably was. But hey, guess what just came in the mail the other day?
What, a computer?
A very good computer.
Oh, nice.
It's stronger than my work computer.
Oh, wow.
Because it's 2 years, more recent. And that thing can handle like 4K and 6K video editing. So I'm like, should be able to handle most games just
nice.
fine. So,
you know what game I really want to play? I've been thinking about it a lot. Is that Empire Total War? I bought this thing like 10 years ago.
I still have that on my Steam.
It's awesome.
See, that's the problem. We're about to retire from these podcasts.
and all we could think of.
And then we're like, oh, but what about this other game that I never did actually play? I never played the BioShock sequels. I only ever played the first one.
Oh, really?
And I'm like,
they're really good.
that seems like that would be pretty cool.
The first one is really good, but the other ones are really good too.
Well, I've heard the Infinite's like awesome.
Yeah, Infinite's really good.
And then the second one's still worth playing.
Yeah, a lot of people crapped on it, but I thought it was a blast.
I can't imagine. Like the gameplay was so good. I can understand because that kind of gameplay story balance when how it shades people's